Donald Trump joins us now. Donald, how are you?
Hi, Laura.
It's good to talk to you. How's everything going out there? Looks like it was fun last night.
It was so amazing in Iowa. And we were in New Hampshire last week and in Iowa last night. And in Alabama, we had 30,000 people in a stadium. It was unbelievable. It's been the crowd reaction is so inspiring to everybody. And to me, it's been amazing. People are looking for, that silent majority that we don't use that word anymore, and now we're using it again because that's what's happening. People are coming out, Laura, and they just want to see the country be great again. It's very simple.
Former President George W. Bush is now going to headline a Jeb fundraiser on September 10th in New York City. Before we had heard that he wasn't going to be really all that active in the campaign. Obviously, he supported his brother, but the nostalgia of September 11th, obviously the eve of the anniversary of September 11th attacks. What does this say to you?
Well, Jeb is failing, and part of the reason he's failing is because of his brother. I mean, his brother went in and attacked the wrong people. He broke up Iraq and destabilized the Middle East. And as you know, because you know very well, I've been against that war, and I'm a very militaristic person. I'm going to make our military so strong, and I'm going to take care of our vets so good. But you got to attack the right target. And ideally, if you're strong enough, you don't have to attack anybody because nobody's going to mess with you. That's where I want to be. But, the brother destabilized the Middle East. The brother has been, I'm not a big fan. So, if he's coming in, he's going to have to help his brother because, Jeb is a very low-energy person. And he's just not going to I don't care how much money they raise. He's not going to set the country right again. He's just not going to do it.
Virginia and North Carolina are now in discussions about implementing this, basically a requirement, kind of a loyalty oath that they're going to require all candidates to agree to be on the primary ballot, that any individuals in the Republican primary has to pledge not to run as a third party. If they go forward with that, what will your reaction be?
Well, I'd have to study it. I mean, I'm hearing about it now yesterday for the first time, and I'd have to study it. But I don't see it as a problem because I obviously, I'm leading in every poll. I've heard you going over some of the polls, but, we're leading in Iowa, we're leading in New Hampshire, we're leading in South Carolina, we're leading in North Carolina, we're leading everywhere, in Nevada. And, we're leading in every single poll, both national. One poll came out yesterday, as you know, the Gravis poll, it was 40%, more than 40%.
But my point is that Republican establishment, which in my mind vociferously supports Jeb Bush. I don't care what they say. Most of them are in the pocket of the Bushes. But
Which is incredible to me.
Well, but I think they are. I mean, I think a lot of these people are. But my point is,
could be.
Look at what they did to preserve the seat of Thad Cochran down in Mississippi. I mean, they basically had Haley Barbour's group basically, pamphleted black neighborhoods with these flyers indicating that they thought Chris McDaniel was a racist, right? They're going to pull out every procedural trick and everything that they can do to try to, I think, derail your nomination. Now we just learned that Colorado is canceling its presidential vote for the 2016 caucus. They're just canceling it altogether. So this is the kind of stuff they're going to do.
And what does that represent in Colorado? When you tell me about Colorado, they're canceling it for what purpose?
Well, we don't know. Colorado will not vote for a Republican candidate for president in its 2016 caucus after party leaders approved a little notice shift that may diminish the state's clout in a most open nomination contest in modern era. The GOP Executive Committee has voted to cancel the traditional presidential preference poll after the National Party changed its rules to require a state delegates to support the candidate that wins the caucus vote. I think what they probably determined is that you could probably win Colorado. So now they're not committed to support you if you win Colorado. That's why they canceled it.
Well, maybe, and who knows? I can only tell you this, that, whether it's caucus or not, like in Iowa, I'm so far ahead in Iowa, and a lot of people thought that would be going to Walker. And who knows? I mean, we still have a long way to go, and I don't want to get overly carried away because we do have a long way to go. But you take a look at Iowa, you take a look at New Hampshire, you take a look at so many different states that I think it's awfully hard when somebody's getting 30 and 35 and even 40% of the vote to say, gee whiz, we're going to try and put somebody in there who's got 6. Jeb is down at 5 and 6% in some of these places.
Do you think he should drop out of the race now at this point?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I certainly wouldn't be the one to say that, but he certainly has not been. He has not been taking the ball. Yesterday, he was at the border the other day, and what he did is he brought the whole thing in with Asians having to do with the anchor babies. He shifted away from Hispanics and brought in the Asians. Now the Asians are furious, and he has a massive editorial today in the New York Times like, what's wrong with you? What he tried to do is put it onto Asians, and now he's lost the Asian vote. So I don't know. Does he know what he's doing? I have no idea. I can only tell you, I just want to run my own campaign. So far we've gotten by far, as you know, the biggest crowds. We've had the biggest response.
This is what happened. He went to Colorado. It's very interesting. Jeb was in Colorado. Then Colorado announces they're canceling the. I was just, who knows what happened there? But this is what he said in Colorado right before the Colorado State Party announced they were canceling its caucus.
Mr. Trump believes that you can just round people up. And that it's just an easy thing to do because he's a successful guy and you'll just have successful people do it and it'll all work out. Well, the cost of this will be extraordinary. It will disrupt community life. It doesn't embrace American values that I think should be respected. It's not a practical plan.
Your reaction to him?
Well, my plan is very practical, and as you know, in most of your circles, people love my plan. They're loving it. They're not liking it. They're loving it. They love the wall. They love the fact that you have to be legal to be in the country. We have a thing called illegal. They're illegal. And we can expedite the good people, and there are plenty of good people, a lot of them. But we can expedite the good people coming back in if we have to, and maybe we will have to do that. But it'll be a very humane plan. It'll be something that'll work, and it'll make us all feel better about our country. And it can be done. We're spending $130 billion a year on the problems that we have with illegal immigration. And, Laura, I think you will admit this. Had I not brought up the word illegal immigration at my opening, when I first announced, you wouldn't even be talking about immigration right now. This was not a subject that was talked about.
Right. Well, I've been talking about it since like 2002. So
but not to the extent it's such a big, it's such a big topic. And
the other candidates wouldn't have been. That's for sure. I mean, Ted Cruz
they certainly wouldn't have been. And it's sort of interesting because now you look at what's happened. I talked about the crime and the tremendous crime wave, and everyone said, "Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible." Now they're all apologizing. Everybody's apologizing to me. I said, "You don't have to apologize." But then you had the killing of Kate. And you had all these other families come out that have been devastated by illegal immigrants.
Many more than that. Yeah, many more than that.
And, tremendous. Well, how about the other night in California last week? A woman who's 66 years old, a veteran, was sodomized, raped, tortured, and killed by an illegal immigrant.
Yeah, this is what we have 13,000 new homeless people every month in California. The LA Times just reported, and we're going to bring in a lot more indigent laborers. Okay, that's going to work out well for us.
It's out of control. And
Donald,
so
I work for Fox, and I've worked for Fox for years, and this big death struggle between you and Kelly and I'm going to get into all the details, but
not a death struggle, not a big deal.
You're so powerful on the stump, and you're getting such huge crowds. The kind of late night tweets reacting to what's happening on her. I mean, I personally don't think that's helpful. Now, you don't need my advice. who the heck am I? But I just think your message on trade and globalism and immigration and middle class renewal is really a serious platform of ideas.
Actually, I watched your show last night. She was very nice, and I appreciated it. And she had Frank Luntz on, who said I scored the highest score that he's ever had. I said, what's going on over here? What happened? But Frank Luntz was on. He was another one that I wasn't so thrilled with.
But are you going to keep retweeting these bimbo back in town kind of comments? I mean,
no, I have much bigger things to think about, honestly. I mean, they made a big deal out of that, and I just don't see it. That was a retweet.
No, but I don't think
I do have a lot of things that I want to get out. Like China is just absolutely destroying us, and now they're pulling us down even from the big economic picture, which I said was going to happen, and I said it on your show 2 years ago was going to happen. I've been telling you this is going to happen, and we're so intertwined, and I believe in free trade, but we need smart negotiators and we need smart leaders.
What about the Trans-Pacific Partnership?
The big picture to me is the important thing.
So this Fox thing is where this is this.
Roger Ailes is great. Roger Ailes is a special guy. He's a good friend of mine, and we just spoke 2 minutes ago. I mean, Roger Ailes is a great guy, and No, I have no problem. And I actually liked her show very much last night, if you want to know the truth.
The Trans-Pacific Partnership is being secretly negotiated. You have to go into a room in the basement of the Capitol. You can't bring in a notepad if you're a congressman. Can't bring in any device to record anything that's on these sheets of paper. And like the WTO, China initially won't be a member of this global set of rules that we
but
can
they'll
really.
Be going in as soon as it's done because they know it's such a great deal for them. They're going to go in and they're going to take advantage of us like everybody else does, and it's a terrible deal and it's a stupid deal, and it's being perpetrated by the lobbyists and the donors and the people that really take care of these politicians. It's a horrible deal, and we can make a great deal, and there's nothing wrong with the deal, but that particular deal is horrible. And you watch, China will go, as soon as it's over, China will then join the deal and totally take advantage of us because we're led by people that don't have it.
Yesterday, Planned Parenthood was exposed again in an 8th video released by the Center for Medical Progress. Do you still believe there are 2 Planned Parenthoods, or is it time to defund this organization?
Well,
completely?
You should defund anyway because they're doing the abortions. It's like an abortion factory, which is terrible. So you should defund anyway, but those videos are horrible. Every time you see them, they get worse and worse. And it's not only that, the messengers are so bad. They're always, these people, what they say and the way they talk, it's like they're selling parts to an automobile or something. It's a terrible situation going on with Planned Parenthood. There's no question about it.
$500 billion a year, and they're laughing in swilling glasses of wine while little baby parts are swirling around at a bowl right in front of this. Is just this whole thing is just, there are all these community health centers that do birth control and all that don't do abortions, and it seems to me that that's this is. Are you and Jorge gonna have a survey so soon?
No, I doubt it, but who knows? But I think I handled that well. I got a lot of credit for
Mika
it.
Brzezinski described you as masterful in your handling.
Wow, that's a compliment because she's masterful. So getting that from Mika is a great compliment. You know that.
And Donald, my daughter wants your autograph. Maria, she's from Guatemala, by the way. I adopted her. She's from Guatemala, she wants your autograph. And I said, look, I don't have any horse in this race, but I'll ask you, will you give her an autograph?
Anytime you want, and you can bring her up to the office, and I'll do it personally.
All right.
Okay?
Sounds,
I love it.
Sounds great. Donald Trump on the Laura Ingraham Show.